Listen, I can't even show my face right now because I put it out there that it's coming home, but it went to Rome. So yo, I'm joking, but like, listen, we all knew, like, I don't know. I said it. Yes, I tweeted. I'm like, you cannot win a final with one shot on target and 29% possession. How do you expect to win a final with that? You know what I mean? It's just, yeah. I don't know, man. After everything, and yesterday was a setup thing. If nobody can tell me otherwise, that yesterday's penalty lineup wasn't a setup.
What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by that? Okay, your best penalty taker, Harry Kane, and your captain goes first. Why? The three young black boys to go right after each other. Not only that, the whole tournament you don't play these boys. You don't play Sancho, you don't play Rashford. And then you call upon them in the final. You're not bringing them on beginning of extra time. You're not bringing them on beginning of second half of extra time. You're bringing them on 119th minute. You know, in like during an opposition's corner kick.
Yeah,
So Sancho didn't touch the ball. Rashford didn't touch the ball once to throw it in.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
And then you put the last penalty kick pressure on a 19-year-old boy that hasn't taken a professional penalty ever in his career. And you're trying to
Yeah.
tell me that's not a setup? And
Well, that's
right after the game, minority fans are getting harassed, stabbed, thrown in the water. Come on, man. Oh
yeah.
my
Now we got to talk about the because that's the thing. Like I said, when it comes to penalty, I don't really. It's whatever happens, it happens. Penalties are, it's like kind of a lottery or whatever. But these penalties we kind of have to talk about just because of the way it was set up, right? So you
yeah,
have
man.
Rashford and Sancho getting soaked on the 119th minute. The crazy thing about that, I didn't even think they were gonna get on because the
Yeah,
ball wasn't going.
it
It wasn't
wasn't
going out
going
of
out.
play.
You
It
know what I
wasn't
mean?
going.
Like there was an opportunity to bring them on. I think around 116.
Yeah.
They waited. I don't know why. And then the ball wasn't going. I'm like when this guy's gonna come on? They're not gonna have, no like rhythm or anything. And like
Literally.
I felt really bad for the Rashford one because like he actually sent the keeper the wrong way, but it hit his heel. I seen it. It hit his heel. It hit towards his heel. That's why it went too far left.
Not only
But
that, it's just yeah, because you have to also understand, like he mentioned, they get subbed on 119th minute. The only touch Rashford really has is
the
a throw
throw.
in, but also I think he had like a defensive play. Like
Yo,
as soon
yeah,
as he
yeah,
got
yeah. That
yeah,
defensive play, yeah,
as
yeah,
soon
yeah.
as he got subbed on, I was in my house, I was watching it. I'm like, please let them get any touch on the ball, anything.
Bro.
And I
Like
see Rashford get the a defensive play. I'm like, that's the
that's
best they're gonna get. That's the
Sancho
best
didn't
he's
even
gonna
touch the
get.
ball.
Sancho
Sancho
didn't
didn't
touch
even
the,
touch the
and
ball.
you have to understand, like in soccer, so the last time Rashford and Sancho touched the ball was when they had warm ups, right?
Yeah,
And warm ups end like maybe 15 minutes or whatever before the game
before the
starts.
game.
So they're on the bench for 119th minute plus they didn't touch the ball. When you're on the bench and you're warming up, you're not allowed to kick the ball on the side of the field.
Exactly.
So they literally did not touch a ball since the warm up, and you sub them on, and they're supposed to both score the penalties in the finals
And
to give you,
pressure
yeah.
too. The pressure. Like for me, yeah, if I was like if I was to use those five players that he picked, right, but change the order, I will go Rashford first, right, to set the tone, right? And I'll go because like the first penalty, there's not that much pressure on you. Because if you
I
miss,
disagree with that, but I'll let you go. I'll
you know why
let
I
you
say
go.
that? Do you know why I say
Yeah.
that? Because if you
Why?
miss, right, there's four more people that can score, and then you also there's a possibility your goalkeeper can save it, right? In Rashford's situation, taking being the third penalty taker, it's already been four scored penalties, right? Because Italy scored two, England scored two already, right? So he missed his. Like, and if you
Yeah.
miss yours in the middle of the shootout, that could be detrimental. Like, it could be like it could be like because imagine if you miss yours now, the only option to save you is if your goalkeeper saves you. You know what I
Saves
mean?
it. Yeah.
So if you go first and he sets the tone, because like he could, like Rashford is a bad man when it comes to penalty. Barely, I think this is the first time I've seen Rashford miss a penalty. You know what I mean? And I think that he always sends the keeper the wrong way, right? But this one he actually hit the post. That's what's so sad about it, because he tried to hit it in the corner, but it went too far in and he hit the post. That's what's so sad about it. So I'll let Rashford go first, then I'll let Saka go right after him, right? And I'll either play. Is either I let Saka go right after him, or I'll put Maguire right after him as second, right? And then Saka after Sancho, and then Kane last, because that's your captain. That's who's supposed to keep you in the shootout or win the shootout for you, right? You see the same thing Italy did, right? The way they played the shootout in the semi-final is the same way they did, but except for Locatelli didn't take the first one, Berardi took the first one, but Jorginho was still the one that was taking the fifth one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he
And
still missed. He missed though, because Pickford, obviously you're gonna guess it, right? Because it's obvious.
yeah, but I think there's a lot of things we need to also talk about, because even because I think Foden was injured, so he was couldn't take part in that game at all. And when Saka got subbed on, I believe the moment was too big. Like, he got subbed on like the 70th minute.
Too
His
late.
legs
It's too
never
late. It's
his
too late.
legs yeah his leg like first of all, it's a final. It'd be 19-year-old. You sub on in like the 70th minute. If you just pay, because you're a player too, you know when a player is still nervous and don't have their legs under them. I was just watching Saka play those few minutes. Fam, he never got his legs under them, and not only because he was still nervous, but also because they weren't creating offensive opportunities for him to really get touching with the ball and do whatever. One of the few opportunities he was when he was gonna get on break, what's his name? Chiellini almost assassinated him. That was one of the situations where it was like, okay, it might be he might get on break. He said, "Come back here."
Yo, the memes are going off on Twitter with that
But
picture, bro. Like, it's
but
crazy.
you see, like, I was just watching him throughout that time. I'm like, man, this guy still has a bit of nerves. And then you get to the final, and I see him step up and take a penalty. I'm like, that
Like,
is not the guy.
that
I
is
don't
not the
care.
guy. Like,
I don't care
come
if it's
on.
I don't care if it's the first penalty or fifth penalty. You should
He
not
shouldn't be
make
first
Saka.
five. He shouldn't be first
Yeah,
five.
yeah, you do
In
not
my
make.
opinion, he shouldn't be first five.
You can't do that to him. You can't do that to him. And the mental trauma and these things he will have to go through because of that penalty. Like, you cannot make Saka take a penalty, especially the way he was playing ever since he got soft on. It's
You
like,
know,
as a coach, I just want to say this one last thing, because this is what Gareth Southgate said. He said that the penalty decisions come on him. He's the one that chooses, okay, who goes based on what they did at training or whatever. It's two things. It's either he's lying, or that is by far the
you don't
dumbest
pick
thing I
penalty.
ever
You
heard.
don't pick shooters
Yeah,
based on
you
training.
don't, because what you every coach that I know, to my knowledge, when it comes to penalty shootouts, this is what happens when it's time for penalty shootouts. They have their list in their hands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, of it's blank. It's blank. They're like, who wants to take the first one? Raise your hand. Okay, you. Who wants to take the second one? Raise your hand. Whoever
Exactly, the
raises their hand,
confidence.
yeah,
Whoever has the confidence to take it.
whoever's going like this, me, I will take it. That's who take it. So when Gareth Southgate said that he's the one that chose the lineup, either he's lying to protect the players, which I wouldn't say, because now people are coming for Raheem and Grealish, because why would you let a
And Luke
19-year-old take
Shaw
a
and those
penalty
guys, yeah.
before? Yeah. So either he's protecting the players, or he really did what he did and he chose based on training and whatever and what they did at their clubs, which is so stupid.
To be honest, I think he chose based on training and data analysis, right? I feel like their mindset going into that last kick with Saka was that no one knows where he's gonna go. Right? He hasn't taken a professional penalty before, like I said, in his professional
Yeah.
career. So there's no data, there's no analysis based on where he's gonna go. So he really doesn't know. So maybe that might be one of the reasons why but you cannot still do that. And another thing why I said it's a setup thing, because look, this guy has done this so many, like, throughout the tournament, right? Subs late, right? And expects the bench to have an impact right away. Okay, yeah, Grealish came on a couple of times, had an impact. Yes, Rashford came on a couple of times, like late, late. You can't come at 85th minute and have a huge impact. Grealish will come in 75 minute, will have maybe one impact or so. But come on, this is a final. This is a You're playing against the best team in the competition, and you're still coming with that approach. Like sub earlier.
Mm-hmm.
First, you played through in the back. Okay, that worked for the first 20 minutes. By halftime, you should have changed it because Italy started going into the game and started controlling the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Change it to a four in the back by halftime. Bring on Saka by halftime. Don't bring him in the 75th minute. Bring him on by halftime. You know what I mean? Then
Yeah.
bring Grealish on before the end of the 19th minute. We're bringing Grealish on
Yeah, that
in
was
extra time.
ridiculous.
You know what I mean?